Hello everyone, get ready for some trending new info in your quest for knowledge. What hobby does not get more expensive the more you dive into it? Collecting buckets. I have 7 buckets. The 4th one is also dark blue. That really depends on how long your bucket list is. I think I'd rather get rickrolled than read that again. Wild crafting. That's pretty much the entire point. Note, wild crafting should be practiced mindfully, with sustainability in mind. Take only what you need, leave enough for the plants and animals to live well and reproduce. Abundance is there, but only if we don't harm it. Magnet fishing. All you need is a strong magnet and some rope really, and maybe a few other things like gloves. Might even find something valuable one day if you're exceedingly lucky. Today I learned of a new hobby. Sounds fun. It's tons of fun. 99% of the stuff you'll find is just junk, lots of nails and fishing hooks and whatnot, but it helps keep the river clean and gives you something to do on a nice day. I mean, someone above mentioned smithing, you could always do both. Writing. It takes a certain amount of conscious effort to keep prices down though. 1. Knowing that you don't need a fancy computer to run a word processor. You do not need a Mac when a Chromebook or lower-end PC will suffice. Nowadays, a Bluetooth keyboard for your smartphone will also work. 2. Knowing that Google Docs and OpenOffice are free, and that you don't need to shell out money for MS Word or Scrivener. 3. Knowing that you do not need to pay for illustrations unless you're ready to sell to a publisher. 4. Knowing the difference between actual publishing and vanity publishing. 5. Knowing that you need neither the best keyboard nor the best chair to write. 6. Not spending money on writing-related tchotchkes. 7. Knowing that you do not need to pay for feedback. The internet will gladly give it for free. 8. Realizing that if your story is compelling enough, you don't actually need coffee. Cross-stitch/embroidery, it's fairly cheap in general, but once you have a few sets in, you have a wide variety of colors to do your own. Oddly enough, lace making. Depending on the style of lace you're doing, the initial cost of tools can be fairly steep, or super cheap. Some styles require a needle. Just a needle. But once you've got the equipment, you're only ever required to buy thread and maybe pins or paper. Okay, pattern books, but if you're even a little bit creative, you've got that covered. Source: used to make lace. Over the course of 15 years, I spent maybe $200. Not 200 a year, 200 spread over 15 years. And most of that was because I wanted specialty threads, like handspun linen, etc. And if you let some historical reenactment groups know you actually enjoy making lace, you can make a fair bit of money off of it. Handmade, historically accurate lace is quite pricey, and 99.9% of that cost is in labor. Programming. You already have a computer, tablet, 3DS, etc., and if you need a dedicated device, a Raspberry Pi 4 is less than $100. Most tools are free. Open source tools are free forever. Internet is full of tutorials and examples. YouTube has a lot of courses in any field you like. Programming for fun has a competitive side too. I came here to say the same. You can make hundreds of programs without paying a dime. Then you can make hundreds of programs with being paid some dimes. Smithing. It's always just as expensive. And nothing beats the feeling you get when you finish your first knife and cut something with it. Learning to mirror sharpen a knife on whetstones like the ancient Japanese masters, $300. Getting your hand stitched shut after touching the blade and losing a pint of blood, priceless. Stick collecting. No joke. It sounds dumb at first, but once you get a few solid sticks, you'll start to love it. You should see my arsenal. Alright dude, you can't tease us like this, show us your stick collection. Plot twist, Op is actually a golden retriever. Odd username for such a lovely creature. Geocaching? When I was a kid my family loved to geocache, and eventually we set one up near our house. An office worker wrote us a long ballad about how excited he was to see a new cache and how he rushed out, found and signed it, and made it back in less than an hour just in time for his meeting. It was so sweet and memorable. Geocaching is such a great hobby. When I created my first geocache, it took less than 2 hours until the first geocacher had found it. He logged that he had rushed there right after work. All the hardcore cachers subscribe to the feed of new caches to check if they potentially can be first to find. Playing cards. If you play your cards right. Take my damn upvote, you amazing stranger. Meditation. Haha, One of the cheapest hobbies. But people manage to spend money on this too. Joining expensive courses, buying aesthetics like expensive candles, mats etc., going on meditation retreats and high-end resorts in exotic locations. I can understand some well-scented candle or more comfortable mat. But why would anyone need some fancy wall ornaments or golden Buddha figurines? I thought closing your eyes is one of the most important parts. Reading. Having fun isn't hard when you got a library card. I did not expect to see an Arthur reference on Reddit today. I've recently returned to 3D modeling. It's a hobby with a rock-bottom price of entry. You can invest in $10, $20 at a time. You can start with Blender, a free and powerful program that lets you do everything from modeling and sculpting to texture painting and animating. Getting the fundamentals down is also free thanks to incredible tutors like Grant Abbott and Andrew Price. After that, the world is your oyster. You can either throw a few bucks towards more in-depth tutorial courses or buy add-ons that enhance your workflow. You don't have to do any of that, though, and can just let your creativity run wild. I started a podcast as a hobby with two friends that moved to different countries in 2018, and we are still going strong. We talk about different topics every couple of weeks and it's very fun. The only expense we have is the host website, but we only pay because we have uploaded many episodes and needed more cloud space, but it's still very cheap in comparison to other hobbies. If you need to save money, could you not upload to Spotify/YouTube or something similar that lets you do it for free? Podcasting can be done this way, but it's really hard to get any traction by uploading like that. If you join a network or podcast hosting site, they use a special type of web application that auto-uploads your podcast to every listening service. With a lot of those sites, your first ads are for other podcasts, which helps spread the word. Writing. All you need is a Word document and your brain. Unless you're like me, who prefers oral writing, and now has a dragon's hoard of journals to write in. I hoard a bunch of empty notebooks. I'm so scared to write in those pretty empty pages and mess up. I feel this. I once bought an antique-looking journal and wanted to write poems or make it a diary. Well, no. I was too afraid to mess up or write something stupid that I started writing my favorite poems from famous writers because I know that they're great and I won't regret it. Except my bad handwriting. Now I started writing poems, but I was too afraid again, so I just used a block. I hope someday I'll be comfortable enough to write in those beautiful notebooks. Weightlifting. Average person would even save a ton of money by fixing their diet as a side effect. I bought my own home gym 10 years ago. Paid $2,000 used, had a few upgrades, so $2,500 altogether. I have almost all the equipment needed, minus a leg press station. Over 10 years my gym would have cost me $20 a month. The membership here runs about $80. I'm super strong and relatively healthy. I should jump on my elliptical more. For the first 5 years I also ate super healthy and lost a ton of weight. Eating healthy stopped me from eating out and also made my groceries inexpensive. I've been a little more lax now, tougher with wife and kids around. Still have the gym though and still like lifting weights. Gardening. If anything, it becomes virtually free after a few harvests because you can take the seeds out of the vegetables you just picked and replant them. Plus you already have free compost from the remaining plant matter/peels, etc. you picked. If you play your cards right, while there is an initial investment, it'll pay for itself in the end. Lol, nope, you get addicted to buying new plants. Find some groups and trade. It's amazing how easy it is to grow and propagate most of the stuff you would buy. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.